Hello you! Welcome to this video. I've been playing fantasy football since I was like 10. I think I've talked about that in the last video I did. At the end of last year's fantasy football season, I did a video revealing the outcome of my playoffs in my Dynasty league. I will link it down below so you can watch that if that interests you. For now, let's get right into this video where I'm talking about drops for this 2021 NFL season. So pulling up some notes on my phone, I have some drops already written down here, what I want to do. And it's Dan Arnold, Joe Burrow, Gabriel Davis, Hayden Hurst, James Robinson, Allen Lazard, Josh Jacobs, Cam Akers, and Tyler Higbee. Starting off right here, we have Jalen Hurts, going to presumably be the starting quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles this season. He showed a lot of spark at the end of last season when he was put in once Carson Wentz had a total meltdown. And he did really good, especially with his rushing. Because fantasy football rewards running a bit more than passing, especially when it comes to the quarterback position. If you can get those running stats up and rewarded to you in half PPR leagues, that's great. And he gave several 20-something point games towards the end of the season. I didn't start him. I had Ryan Tannehill, so I didn't have to, but it's looking like he could have a big season this year, especially since they brought in some new rookie wide receivers. It should be exciting. We'll see what happens. I think he's going to be good. I don't see why he's not. Justin Jefferson, self-explanatory. I was lucky enough to grab him once he broke out at the beginning of last year. He should have another good year. Quarterback Kirk of the Vikings doesn't get a lot of credit. He actually gets a lot of hate, but he seems to always produce top receivers in that offense. We had Stephon Diggs and Thielen and a couple other people splashing in and out of that offense. And now they draft another awesome wide receiver in Justin Jefferson, and now it's Thielen and Jefferson. Since Thielen is getting older, Jefferson might be more explosive in the plays come this year. A.J. Brown, total stud. Allen Lazard, probably going to drop. He's a favorite of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, for anyone who follows the NFL even remotely, knows that they're not having good relationships right now. Basically, Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to be there anymore. So I'm going to just get rid of Lazard. The top target there is Devontae Adams anyway. He had an awesome breakout game or two last year in the beginning of the year and at the end of the year prior, but then he got injured. Like, he lacerated his stomach and went into surgery or something and missed like the whole season. He was supposed to have a breakout season last year. So due to injury and the fact that he was basically a practice squad guy that got promoted into a starting lineup just because Aaron Rodgers liked him, and Aaron Rodgers could be leaving soon, maybe even not playing come this year, I'm out on Allen Lazard. Josh Jacobs. I spent a lot of money on him in this Dynasty League draft a couple years ago when he came into the league. And that's why it's been hard to say, hey, I'm just going to drop him and move on. But it's time to drop him and move on. He got the ball tons of times last year in that Raiders offense. Their line is pretty good. It had a lot of injuries last year, but he still just did not produce. So whether it's an offensive scheme problem, a line problem, it doesn't matter. Josh Jacobs is elusive. He's a good player, but he's undersized. He's always hurt. He's playing through injury. And since he always wants to play, there was a couple games last year when I had him in my starting lineup, and then last second game time decision, he was too injured to play, and then you have somebody on your team who's not even on the field. Oh, and the biggest last nail in the coffin for Josh Jacobs for me is they brought in Kenyon Drake. So they're probably going to have more of a running back committee this year, and I don't want no part of the Oakland backfield. Josh Jacobs is gone. J.K. Dobbins was a rookie last year. He really showed a lot of talent. Hopefully they can feed him the ball more this year. It seems like the backfield of Baltimore, though they will probably give the ball to some other people, it seems to have cleared out a bit this year. All signs are pointing to him having a much better year. Fantasy-wise, Dan Arnold was just a tight end. Oh, wow, he moved to Carolina. I just saw that here on my computer. He was a promising fringe tight end prospect last year that I picked up late in the season. He was a tight end on Arizona. He's now on Carolina, apparently. Yeah, I'm getting rid of him again. He was just a fringe. He was just a filler spot. Hayden Hurst was supposed to be a promising tight end in Atlanta. Kid still has a lot of talent. He just didn't get a lot of looks. For some reason, Matt Ryan was not getting him the ball. It doesn't matter how talented you are. Playing time, targets, carries, you need to be involved in the offense. he's not. So maybe because he was on a new team last year, they want to ease him in the offense, but then they just picked like one of the best tight end prospects ever apparently, and I'm trying to think of his name, but anyway, everybody should know it because he's a big deal. And they drafted him. So he's going to be the number 1 tight end on this team, not Hayden Hurst. I don't want a number 2. There's just too many mouths to feed in Atlanta, and I'm out on Hayden Hurst this year. Damian Harris in New England. He is a potential drop that I might do. I'm going to have to wait because basically camp kicks off in August. So in a week or two, we're going to have a much better idea what's going on with these teams. Damian Harris is a good running back when he plays. He had some injury problems, but I still think he's probably will be the lead back in New England. When he is playing, he's productive. James Robinson, I'm out. They got a new rookie running back, and I think James Robinson is probably not going to be the starting running back, at least mid in the season. It's just because the old regime that started James Robinson last year is not really there in Jacksonville anymore. They're going in a new direction with young talent, and he had tons of carries last year in this offense. The offense basically ran through him. What are the odds that that's going to happen? Especially now since he's going to be sharing a backfield with a prospect. He will either take his starting job right off the bat and be the starter week 1, but more likely he'll take his starting job a little bit later. This guy who they drafted, this running back, played on Trevor Lawrence's team in college, and he's like fast. Looking at his tape personally though, I'm not impressed with any of his elusiveness. It doesn't seem like he breaks a lot of tackles. He's just fast. Everybody in the NFL is fast. So anyway, again, anyone who's plugged into the NFL knows about this. Again, this running back is a big deal, and he's like a good receiving back as well, and he's just going to take too much carries away from James Robinson. I don't see him getting the workload he had last year. At the beginning of the year, he gave a lot of fantasy points, but towards the middle end of the year, they just started kind of stacking the box because they knew what Jacksonville was going to do. And James Robinson really didn't produce, even though he had a lot of touches. Gabriel Davis, wide receiver on Buffalo. Again, great talent, super tall, big, great hands. There's just too many mouths to feed in Buffalo. Stephon Diggs is the primary receiver, and Davis is just not probably going to get enough looks. So I'm going to get rid of him, hope I can get some rookies. Ryan Tannehill, while I was thinking of dumping him, to be honest, because I would like to dump him, sell him high so I can get good money for him for a draft class, I just don't think it's a good idea. New offensive coordinator in Tennessee, which means they might not be as run heavy. And then they bring in the star wide receiver from Atlanta, which is kind of mixed feelings because I was loving the fact that A.J. Brown was going to get, once they traded Corey Davis, A.J. Brown was really the only guy in that offense, and Humphrey's gone and the tight end is gone. He was going to get so many targets. A.J. Brown probably would have had a bigger year. So Julio Jones coming to Tennessee is probably going to be good for Ryan Tannehill, and it's going to give him 2 top targets to throw to, and we will see how this new offensive coordinator works. After being so successful with the offensive coordinator for multiple years, it would be probably a good idea to drop him before the draft so I could get a lot of money and then get somebody in the draft. But he's been a rock solid quarterback, is always healthy. He's pretty consistent. He'll give you like 20 something points a game. And I honestly don't think he'll do that bad. Cam Akers. I was so high on Cam Akers coming into this 2021 NFL season. He was looking to secure the lead back role coming into this year. It was his. The team was going to run through him as probably the 3-down back like they did at the end of last year. But my problem with him, and what shows now that hindsight, but I already knew that just by looking at his physique, he's too small, he's too thin, and he ripped his ACL out, and now he's done for the whole 2021 season. It's awesome that I have him on this Dynasty team, but it's time to get rid of him. I don't see him having a long career in the NFL, even if he would be good for a couple of years personally. A.J. Dillon, Green Bay running back, totally keeping him because A.J. Dillon is a better running back than who's starting right now for Green Bay. And I could see him taking the starting job, and if the other dude gets injured, he definitely would have the starting job. So Joe Burrow had a decent-ish rookie season, but he started his career with an ACL injury as well. The Bengals are young. It's going to take them some time to figure it out, and with this new rookie draft class coming in, I think that I want to get rid of him. I would rather have Trevor Lawrence. I would even probably have the dude on the Jets or the new rookie quarterback on San Francisco. So because of all those reasons, I think I'm gonna dump Joe Burrow. That's probably the riskiest drop I'm making out of all these players because he is so young and he's a high prospect coming into the league. He's on a high-flying, powerful offense in the Bengals. They're really trying to put something together there. But again, they have line issues they really didn't address in the offseason as far as pass block. They have a good run blocking line, but their pass protection isn't very good. Maybe they improved. I'm just feeling like I probably should get rid of him. How this league works is that you're gonna drop players and get money depending on how the players are averagely ranked. For example, if this guy was ranked 40th overall of all the players you can draft in the NFL on the average draft position on a list, the higher players are ranked fantasy football wise when you drop them before the draft, you're gonna get more money for them. So dropping Joe Burrow, while I probably won't get as much for him unfortunately as if he had finished and played through the 2020 NFL season, it just is what it is. He's still gonna be in a relatively higher draft position than a lot of starting quarterbacks in the NFL. And because of that, I'll still get a decent enough money for him to put towards some other rookie. So this is what I'm doing with my Dynasty League. These are the drops. These are the reasons why I'm dropping them. So that's it for this video. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Consider liking or commenting below. I know we do a lot of different types of videos on this channel. If you like this, I can do more fantasy football stuff. I really enjoy playing it. It's one of the little hobbies I have that I can throw a little bit of time for because I've been doing it for so long. It's relatively easy because you only have to keep track of the new players and where the old players go in the league. So it's fun. And if you enjoy it, let us know. Give this video a like if you liked it as well. It helps our algorithm. And thank you for watching. The higher players are ranked fantasy football wise. The higher players are ranked fantasy football